Hi, welcome to my kitchen. Today I am going to be dehydrating some onions. I had a lot, gave some away, ate a lot, and then Greg said, "Mom, dehydrate them." I'm like, okay. So that's what I'm doing. I am cutting off a piece off the end of each one of them, and a little bit off the greens. Now, a lot of people call them green onions. I call them green onions. Some people call them scallions. Some people just call them onions. So, whatever you call them, I don't care. I call them green onions. Green onions. So, that's what I'm going to be doing. So what we're going to do, I had a ton of them, but when you make beans and cornbread, you can eat a ton of them. At least I know I can. My family can. My husband can. And I had friends that could, so I gave them a bunch. These onions, I'm telling you, I couldn't believe it because I just got my garden planted. There's no way my onions are up in time yet. But my husband said, "You got a row of onions up out there?" And I said, "Onions? I just planted them." Well, they're up. I went out and looked, and I'm like, that's last year's onions. Well, if you don't pull up all your onions, they come up the next year. I had over 100 green onions that came up. I'm like, you have got to be kidding me. So I'm going to hydrate them. Greg sent me this beautiful dehydrator, and I have loved it. I've found so many things I can use it for. So anyway, I'm going to take my time cutting them, because if I cut them fast, I make this noise, and Michael hates that noise when he tries to edit them. So I have to do it slow so I don't make that noise. Aren't you proud of me, Michael? As he says, no. Anyway, you cut your onions and you go all the way up. Oops, I made a noise. Anyway, you take this up, and then of all things, my pans are rattling together. You take the white part of it all the way up to the green. That is, if you want to use the green. You don't have to, but why waste it? Which, if you've got a compost pile, you don't waste it because you put it there. And trust me, I don't waste nothing. I don't have a compost pile. I live in town. And we found out it attracts a lot of animals. So we don't have one. But I use it a lot of times for, get a lot of different things together. I can make my broth. So I take it up to there. Up to... cut my onions up to where I can feel the onion blades starting. I'd had a lot more onion blade if I hadn't cut them off so short, but I really didn't need it, I guess, because I don't know why, but I cut it off. Okay, I'm to here. Now, I've got two different pans, and I guess I slid my island back a little bit because when I bent over, I hit the counter. I'm going to put these all in this pan. Now you're going to break them up a little bit when you put them in there, at least I do. That way the air gets through them. I've seen a lot of people make the dehydrated onions. I've seen them make it look so pretty. But I don't do pretty that often. I get so busy, and we've been so busy out there doing our garden, and I thought it looked pretty nice. I was so proud of it because my husband built me two beds, two of the beds like Greg has, and I thought it looked pretty good. And I went out this morning and I was going to take a picture of it and send it to Greg, because my tomatoes look good. My green beans are up. Some of them are up. Not all of them, but a few of them are up. And I thought, I'm going to send that picture of that stuff to Greg. Well, I was getting ready to do that. I took a picture. I didn't send it to Greg. He texted me first and sent me a picture of his. I said, you've got to be kidding me. I thought my herbs looked pretty good. I mean, they were standing up real good from planting them. His herbs are up this high and about this bushy. And my herbs stand about that high. Okay. They may not all need cut off at the bottoms because I just cleaned them. And then I soaked them for about an hour to get all the dirt off of them and the little creepy things out of them that we might not want to eat. So, anyway, Greg showed me all his garden and I deleted my picture. He says, how's your garden doing, Mom? I said, it's good. It's good. Got everything planted. I'm telling you, for a first garden, I'm telling you, he's going to have everything coming on at one time. His green beans and his okra and his pinto beans and his, I don't know, he must have planted 5 different kinds of beans, and I want to see him can them all at one time. He probably will. That one there was a little shorter. He's got a beautiful garden. That's one thing about it. Now, some of these are kind of stuck together. You know, they're in there together. And I just break them apart like this, so. And that way the air can get up through them in the dehydrator and dry them out good. Now, what I'm doing today would probably be maybe 4 or 5 bunches of what we get in the grocery store here. So, that you're paying anywhere from $1.99 to, oh, let's see. They're expensive right now. Anywhere from $1.99 to $2.29 I've seen them. I was so happy when I seen these out there in that garden. I mean, I was happy. Told Charlotte, I said, can't believe that. That's something my daddy always liked, was green onions and pinto beans. That was really a meal. Now I'm putting these in a different pan, because you're going to do something different with those. I don't think that needs cut off any. Now you can cut, and I do if I'm just cutting enough for a meal. I cut them off with the scissors, because you don't need to drag out your cutting board and everything for just 3 or 4 onions. My husband told me, I think it was Friday night he come in. He says, no, Friday morning. He says, well, guess what? I said, what? He says, something dug up a couple of your half-runner beans out there. And I said, you have got to be kidding me. So last night I went out. I gave them some ice cream to go with their half-runners. I took me a big old jar of cayenne pepper out there. And you know what? They didn't bother them last night. But I can't afford cayenne pepper every night. So we got to put a fence up around it. Now, if you have a little, they call it like a little skin on here, and you don't want that, so you got to take that off. So, how about that? I'm done with this. That's it. That's all you do. Simple to do. Then just put in your dehydrator and finish it there. Now, I'm going to do 3 different things with this once this is all dehydrated. And there's a nice bunch of it. A real nice bunch, because it would have taken me too long to have done all this on camera. See? I've got the greens and I've got the white. And I do have in my dehydrator that Greg bought me, I have the greens and I have 2 of the whites in here already. And I'm going to, no, 1, 2, I have 3 of them. So what we're going to do now is we're going to put these on our trays. And with the greens, you're not going to get too, you can stack them because it don't really matter. They're thin. They got little holes in them too. And they dry pretty fast. So, and like I said, I thought that was, I did that, oh, I did it like that earlier. I was going to say, I did that on there earlier. We're going to just spread them out like so and get them on there. And I'm going to put them in the dehydrator. And it takes maybe 8 to 10 hours. But we're going to see how pretty that looks. That really looks pretty. And that one there, I didn't cut all the way through. And that looks a little funny. So, now if for some reason they get shrunk up and they don't look like they're drying real good, but they're shrinking up, just take this out and shake it. And it'll shake them up a little bit, and then they'll be okay. Okay. Now my whites. Now these, I need my dogs because I'm dropping them on the floor and they might eat them. I doubt it, but they might. I don't want these stacked. I just want them kind of level in here so that they can dry. They will shrink up some, and I might have to shake them out a little bit. I'm going to try to get those all on there. We'll see. If I see that this tray's not drying good, I'll know I've got too many on there, because you're not supposed to stack them, but they're really not stacked. They're just squished together. Is that a word, squished? Well, if it's not, it is now. Okay. Now, I'm going to put these in the dehydrator. And I'm going to see if I can't get it started. And I love my dehydrator. Be surprised what all I've made in there. And I'm going to be doing a lot in there. Not as much as Greg is in his. Then I'm going to put these in. I'd have another tray if I pick all of them up off the floor that I've dropped. Then I'm going to do that. Then I'm going to turn it on. And then I'm going to get my temperature at 125. And I'm going to get it started, get my temperature going at now. I'm not going to set the timer because I know it's going to take a long time. I'm going to be checking them, so I'll just keep checking them. So that's the first part. Second part is drying them. And then we'll come back, get them dried. I'll come back and show you that they're dried. Then show you all the neat things that we can do with them. Because there's a lot of things that we can do with them once they're dried. And you'll want to dry some because you can do so much with them. And when you run out of something, you'll think, gee, I've got that from dehydrating them. So then you'll go do that. So I really appreciate you watching me right now. So just hang in there and I'll be back later. Okay, now I think they're good and dry. And I am going to finish putting them into my jars. When you take them out, your onions out, you can tell real easy. If they crunch, they're dry. So I'm going to put them on my wax paper. And make a mess. I've got as many on the floor as I've got on my counter, I believe. This is going to be so nice when I'm trying to hurry and get a meal ready and I say, oh, I gotta peel an onion. Oops, I don't have to peel an onion. I've got one peeled. All I have to do is get me a jar of the onions that I've dried and pour some of this in. Then we're just going to put this in our jar. Whatever I don't spill, like so. And it's so funny because I didn't know I was going to have these because they came up volunteer this year. And that's fine with me. Okay, that's all of the whites of my onions. So now I'm going to put my each there. Now, if your onions for 7 days, you'll want to just sit on the cabinet, and for the next 7 days, you'll want to take it and shake it up. Now, if they stick like that, maybe they will, maybe they won't. Now, if that doesn't come loose, when you do it gently like I'm doing it, then you can dump them back out and put them back in the dehydrator for a while, and they'll be okay. Okay, but for 7 days, you'll want to take them back and forth like I just did. And I think I'm going to put a few of these in the other jar because I'll even them out a little bit and then they'll shake up a little better. But for the next 7 days, I'm going to leave them on the counter so I remember to turn them back and forth like that. And that'll be so easy when I need some onions in something, just to grab this jar and dump a little, like so. Or if I need something on my pizza, that'll be great. Now some people call them onions. You can call them green onions, you can call them scallions. Come on. These I don't want to spill them. Now your onion blades, you don't want to put these on your pizza or top them on a salad or something because they're not going to be nice and crisp like they are when you're doing them fresh from the garden. So if you use these, go ahead and put them inside of your food. Don't top them because they're going to be kind of a little bit moist-like. They're not going to be crunchy. They're going to be delicious. I will use a lot of these, I know, in salads, on salads, but I won't expect them to be crunchy. Okay, here. And you know, I cut off a lot of my onion tops and pitched them, and I shouldn't have. I probably should have saved them for this, but we have so many planted that I probably won't miss them. I cut and put this on the edges of it because they were falling through. Now these are going to taste a little stronger than your onion whites, the white of the onion. The onion blade always tastes a little bit stronger than the, I'm getting those all over the counter, than the onion, white of the onion does. Because it just, okay, like they say, my cup runneth over, my can runneth over. Okay, well, we're going to have to get another one. My jar runneth over. There we go. And again, for 7 days, we're going to turn it. And don't forget, if it sticks, you'll want to try to shake it. And if it stays stuck, then what you're going to do is you're going to take it out and put it back in your dehydrator. I have plenty salt, onion salt. I think I'm going to make a little anyway. Just going to pour in about, that'll be plenty. And then I'm going to dump in some of my onion. I'm going to use some of the onion blade and some of the onion. You don't want to hold it down the whole time. You want to get mixed up good. Ooh, that smells good. Oh my goodness, but that smells good. Now, okay, my little thing I use to put it in the jars with, I don't seem to find. Guess I'll do it this way. Where there's a will, there's a way. And again, you want to turn this up and down each time. Now that's pretty. Now you have your green and your white together. Now last year I didn't do it that way. I did just the white. I didn't do it the white. I did just the white. I didn't do the green and the white. So anyway, you can do it with whichever onions you have. So anyway, that's our onions and our onion powder. So I appreciate you joining me today. I'll put these in a jar so I can seal them up and have those. As I've opened the bag. And I hope you'll have fun dehydrating. I know I'm going to try to. I haven't dehydrated a lot, but I'm going to. I've dehydrated my herbs, but my other foods, I haven't done a lot of those, but I'm going to this year. So I hope you'll watch when I do dehydrate something. I know Greg's dehydrating a lot. So stay tuned and watch us dehydrate along with our cooking. So I thank you bunches for watching me today. And if you have any hints for me, let me know. I can use all of them. So here we go with my onions and my onion salt. I'm excited about the green and the white together. I didn't do that last year, but I did it this year, and I think it's so pretty. I wish I had a wall where I could just put a big shelf up and set them all on it. So anyway, thank you bunches and have a wonderful week.